Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. You can't fight what you can't see. This is the concept that led to the invention of a military submarine. During World War I and II, submarine fleets were considered the most feared vessels in the ocean, particularly due to their capability of striking boats and fleeing to the depths of the water unseen. As a result, navies worldwide started developing advanced weapons and tactics to deal with underwater threats. And it wasn't long before aircraft and helicopters were being used to hunt down submarines. Island nations like Japan are particularly vulnerable to seaborne threats. Therefore, Japan was the first nation ever to develop an aircraft that used a flyby optics control system. Developed by Kawasaki Aerospace Company, the P-1 is a purpose-built maritime aircraft with no civil counterpart, and was designed from the onset for the role. First introduced in 2013, the Kawasaki P-1 boasts several features that make it extremely deadly to enemy submarines. For instance, it has an incredible 500-mile range, which allows the crew to stay airborne for several hours at a time and reduces the chances of any hostile submarine slipping through its defenses. The P-1 carries more than 30 sonobuoys in the chambers located in its fuselage, and another 70 inside the aircraft itself. The sonobuoys, along with various sensors and magnetic anomaly detector, MAD, in its tail, allow the P-1 to detect, localize, and track submarines and surface vessels. The aircraft also use sophisticated acoustic systems for this purpose. Additionally, the P-1 has an AI system that provides an optimal flight course to the tactical operator in order to attack a submarine. The United States has several aircraft in its arsenal that excel at anti-submarine warfare. However, one of the most effective aircraft in this regard is the Boeing P-8 Poseidon, which is capable of flying as high as 41,000 feet while traveling at speeds as fast as 490 knots. The P-8 is equipped with sonobuoys and torpedoes to track and destroy submarines, and harpoon missiles to nullify surface vessels. In addition, the P-8 can also perform low-altitude missions, and has already proven its abilities to support humanitarian and search and rescue missions. With more than 166 aircraft, the P-8 has executed more than 600,000 flight hours around the globe. The United States has nearly 100,000 miles of coastline that must be protected at all times. For this reason, the U.S. has relied on the Lockheed P3 Orion since its introduction in the 1960s. It is a 4-engine turboprop anti-submarine and maritime surveillance aircraft. The P3 was based on the L-188 Electra commercial airliner. However, It is easily distinguishable from the Electra by its distinctive tail stinger, or mad boom, which is used for the magnetic anomaly detection of submarines. The MAD is a very sensitive instrument. An electromagnetic noise can interfere with it, which is why it is kept in P3's fiberglass tail stinger, far away from other electronics and ferrous metals on the aircraft. The MAD detects the anomaly of a submarine in the Earth's magnetic field. Still, the limited range of this instrument requires the P3 Orion to fly at low altitudes and as close as possible to the submarine. For this reason, this aircraft is primarily used to pinpoint the location of a submarine right before a torpedo or depth bomb attack. The ShinMaywa US-2 is considered an ideal option for maritime surveillance. Since its introduction, Japan has been the primary user of this aircraft. The US-2 was developed in March 2007. Since then, only 8 of these aircraft have been built, but this might change soon, as the United States and many other nations have shown interest in acquiring them. This amphibious aircraft is specifically designed as a short takeoff and landing STOL plane, meaning it can take off and land from virtually anywhere, including runways, landing strips, oceans, and even lakes. The ShinMaywa US-2 is 110 feet long, 32 feet high, and has a wingspan of 108 feet. It can carry up to 20 passengers and boasts a maximum takeoff capacity of 47,000 kilograms. It is capable of providing 4,500 horsepower, courtesy of its 4 powerful Rolls-Royce AE2100 engines. The ShinMaywa US-2 can also travel around 56 miles per hour at slow speeds before stalling, which is extremely important for its primary mission, air-to-sea rescue. The United States wants to obtain the ShinMaywa US-2 to be able to operate effectively in the Pacific Ocean. Hence, the United States pilots and navigators have already started training with the Japanese forces to learn how to fly the ShinMaywa US-2 efficiently. This training was conducted in a US-2 simulator, where Japanese operators taught pilots and navigators how to operate the internal systems of the ShinMaywa US-2. The simulator allowed the pilots to practice a wide range of scenarios, from normal takeoffs and landings to emergencies like engine failures or adverse weather conditions. The navigators trained on different navigation systems available in the simulator and practiced several emergency procedures, like navigating without GPS or other electronic aids. After learning how to operate the ShinMaywa US-2 in a simulator, it was time to get real-world experience. The United States and Japanese airmen conducted operations aboard ShinMaywa US-2 during Exercise Cope Angel in March 2023. the airmen took off and inflated an inflatable rescue boat, IRB, aboard the aircraft. The pilot landed the ShinMaywa US-2 on the water smoothly, and the IRB was deployed on the water. After conducting waterborne operations, the IRB was moved back into the aircraft using ropes. Search and Rescue, SAR, is among the U.S. Coast Guard's oldest missions. The main priority of the USCG is to minimize the loss of life and injury by providing aid to people in distress in the maritime environment. On December 22, 2022, the USCG received a distress call from the survivors aboard the 45-foot fishing vessel. They stated they had put on survival suits and were preparing to abandon their vessel, which was getting slammed against the rocks near Esther Island, Alaska. The U.S. Coast Guard personnel flew an MH-60T Jayhawk helicopter to the destination, located and hoisted 3 men and a dog that were stranded on a boat in high wind conditions. Rescuing people in distress from a sea vessel using a helicopter requires the Coast Guard to follow some procedures. Still, the crew is allowed to ignore standard procedures if it comes to saving lives in emergencies. When the U.S. Coast Guard receives a call from someone in distress, they immediately launch a helicopter with crew on board. However, if a helicopter is already flying by, it responds immediately to perform the SAR operation. After locating the vessel, the pilot hovers the helicopter so that the swimmer can reach down to the vessel. The swimmer talks to the personnel in distress and prepares them for evacuation. Finally, the crew is hoisted off the deck of the boat and into the helicopter, and the cabin door is shut. After rescuing people in distress, the final procedure is to transport them back to shore. In April 2013, an HU-25 Falcon jet captured footage of a vessel that capsized in the middle of the ocean. After receiving this footage, the U.S. Coast Guard immediately rescued the man using a helicopter and transported him to dry land at Coast Guard Air Station Houston. While the U.S. military and Japanese self-defense forces employ various aircraft and vessels for anti-submarine warfare and search and rescue missions, their approaches reflect both similarities and differences. Both of these nations prioritize the protection of maritime interests and safety at sea, utilizing specialized assets like maritime patrol aircraft and helicopters for anti-submarine and SAR operations, respectively. However, the variations in operational procedures, resources, and geopolitical contexts shape their strategies differently. Both forces collaborate in various annual exercises and leverage their unique strengths to address shared challenges. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.